Welcome to today's talk session. My name is Deidre Moss, and I'm the host of Can We Talk? I'm an educator, motivator, and a talk connoisseur. As part of our effort as an inclusive platform, Can We Talk is doing our part to educate and inform about the things that are happening in our community. So today, we begin a new series that will seek to highlight women in our community. We call it Willful Women Wednesdays series. We use the term willful to describe women who are intentional about their work and initiatives. So today, we welcome Ms. Beijing Rodgers. She's the first woman that we are kicking off this series with. And she's a Bahamian young woman that is on the move. And so I'm so excited to have her here today that I'm even tripping up on my words. So at this time, I will pass the virtual mic to her to have her introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. DJ, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And I am honored to be the first woman to be highlighted on this amazing new initiative that you have going on, just to bring positive light to society. So hats off to you. Yes, DJ. So myself, what haven't I done? Just a little bit about myself, correct? So I am an island gal from Nassau, Bahamas, lived in 3 countries, the Bahamas, obviously, the US of A, and Chile. Traveled through more than 30, countries around the world. So I've been able to be exposed to what is out there. And so that just expanded my creativity, my mind, me, everything that I am as a person. And I guess that is part of the reason why I am just so wild. The fact that I believe that I could change the world. I am a believer in Christ, a follower of Christ. I try my best. And I would say that faith of mine has been the driving force as to why I am the way I am and where I am today. Without that light or, spirit living within me, I would probably end up in a ditch because a gal is a risk taker and doesn't really think twice. But with Christ living within me, I got somebody to talk to help me say yes or no to different initiatives or projects or businesses, or friendships or anything that I try to involve myself in. I am a life coach. I am an adventure guru, and I am a humanitarian, focus more so on the young people of the world, because that is my passion. That is what I've been called to. When I was 12 years old, God said, Beijing, I want you to lead the youth. And that's when it all started, actually. My journey of deviating from the norm is one of my sayings. I guess that's where my journey started, deviating from the norm, starting young, not waiting until you become an adult to actually, to put my mark on the world, so it's been a very long journey, a very fun one, a roller coaster. But I wouldn't exchange it for the world, everything that I've gone through.
Awesome, because we need persons doing different things, and I'm glad you said you're the wild one. Maybe I can live through you.
Sure, anytime.
So you talked a little bit about your background. Well, you already touched it a little bit, but can you tell us just a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, of course. Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you. I'm just kidding. Right now it's about me. Got it. No, yeah, a little bit more about myself. I believe that everybody has a purpose. I believe that God has created all of us to do certain things. He said he forms us in our mother's womb for a purpose and a reason. And I think it's when we, figure what that is just one of the most amazing days of your life. One of the quotes that I love is the day, what is it? It's the most two important days of your life is the day you were born and the day you find out why. And I was able to find out why for two of the things that I involve myself in and dedicate my life to, which is one, life coaching, like I mentioned. That was something that God kind of like, put me through, which made so much sense because I've always been somebody that encouraged people, that always wanted to help people, to better people, to counsel people, to be a listening ear. I just wanted to see people feeling fulfilled and living their best life. And so then finally, like, the life coaching thing came about and I got my certification and it was amazing. It was a struggle, but it was amazing. And I was like, whoa. And the first client that I coached, she said, the first client, and after the first session, she said, Beijing, you were born for this. And I was like, oh, so I was like, oh my gosh, this is confirmation. So that's that. And then, like I was mentioning before, the first part of knowing the reason why I'm here on this earth is, to lead the youth empowerment and development. So I have this heart, man. I have this heart for the young people. And I believe that we are, the solution, to changing the world for the better through Jesus, right? So in all sorts of youth, like, impoverished, the higher echelon youth. So I started a nonprofit organization called IOT. It's Our Turn. It was the first initiative, first project, first thing that I ever started on my own. And I would say, looking back at those 12 years running that organization, I would say that was my foundation and my training for everything that I'm able to do now, what I'm capable to do now. Soft skills, hard skills, all of it, character, confidence, all of it was because of the training that I went through running a nonprofit organization from 12 to 24. And no, I no longer have that organization, but I do know that I obviously have this heart, for young people. And I'm actually like in this point of, okay, we'll see what the next step is in regards to how I'm gonna, I'm gonna serve, young people in this season moving forward. And then the newest thing about myself is, so I mentioned that I'm a venture guru, and I just started a new company with my partner, Xavier Knowles, called Island Adventure Experiences. Because let me tell you, from birth to today, I'm always doing something, like so active, jumping off cliffs, jumping off the bed, rolling around, climbing trees. And then when I got of age, skiing, surfing, hiking, whitewater rafting, all of it. And I just love it. And I just love nature. I love the outdoors. It really does something to me inside. It's like my heaven on earth. And then the adventure aspect that you can do in the nature is just so much more fun, like zip lining and skydiving. Like, oh, I've done it all. And it's just like, it's amazing. So then I came home to the Bahamas and then I started this business, and it's not even work. It's like, I get to call this work. I get to, give people adventures, sell adventures to people. Like, I can, as work. This is amazing, and get paid for it. Sign me up, please. So yeah.
Awesome stuff. And what I like about you is your family is so supportive. We just saw, I think that's your sister.
My mom. Oh gosh.
Mom. Hi,
yeah.
Mom. Thanks for the support. Your mom would have just popped in, and they're very supportive of you. So that's always a good thing. And so you talked a lot about. Hi, Mom. You talked a lot about you spoke about one initiative, and I want you to talk about you have some major initiatives going on. And so I want you to talk about that as well. So have the floor. As you would have talked about Island Adventures, is this something that is available? Persons can sign up, persons can register. What is the whole gist of it?
Yeah. Yeah. So as I was mentioning, it's my newest baby and something I'm super passionate and excited about. Because like I was saying, it's not even work, right? I love that quote that says, do what you love and then get paid for it. That's like the best thing. So that's what I, found in this. And the company's called Island Adventure Experiences. And right now, phase one, we're putting on camping experiences for any and everybody on this island called Rose Island, which is 20 to 30 minutes away from Nassau for our foreigners who are watching. Nassau, Bahamas, in the Bahamas. So yeah, and what we do is we pick you up from, Nassau, and we take you on a beautiful 20 to 30 minute boat ride in the aquamarine waters where you can see all the way to the bottom and all the fish. Oh, it's the most beautiful thing, most beautiful water in the world. And then you finally dock at our dock on Rose Island. You get off and you take a really nice, cool, surrounded by trees and nature and bush, walk to our campsite. And then you'll see a sign that says, welcome to Island Adventure Experiences. And then you do a little pathway and then you'll finally see our campsite. And you're like, that's when like all of the mouths drop. And then you find your tent, put your things away. We go through orientation, rules, itinerary, everything. And you just have the adventure of a lifetime. And not my words, their words. They, because we took our first trip last weekend and they had an adventure of a lifetime. They had an amazing time snorkeling, swimming, beaching, hiking. They use the outdoor bathrooms, outdoor toilets. They bonfiring, dancing. Oh man, meeting new people, right? And then finally sleeping in the tents and doing it all over again the next morning. So yeah, and so it's available for everyone, foreigners, locals. For the locals, Bahamians, we give you a discount because we just really want to see our people, right? We're island people, so we really want to see our people, the Bahamians, experience something like this because I mean, it's who we are, it's who we are. Yeah, we're island people. We need to be learning and loving this type of stuff. So that's one of the reasons why started it, because of my passion of the outdoors and my passion wanting to learn more about the history of how my great grandparents used to live in the Bahamas, like the island life, right? So yeah, that's that, and we are full-fledged with that. It's going so well. We have a next weekend coming up, October 9th to the 10th, and then just it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Yeah.
I love that you are so passionate about it, and it's more than just camping. It's because you talked about snorkeling and all these other activities, so it's more than just camping. You talk about the bonfires and all these adventures that you get to go on. So it's more than just a campsite, right?
Exactly. You have all these different adventures that you can do: kayaking, snorkeling, beaching, bonfiring, hiking, obviously camping, stargazing, sunset gazing. Oh, the work. It's so beautiful. Yeah.
I like that you're passionate about it, and it's a lot of activity, especially as you would have said, just having a taste of island life and really getting to see how your maybe grandparents and great grands may have lived on the islands, and having those little adventures.
Yeah.
And so let's move on to our next point. You speak with so much passion. Yeah, you do.
It's fake. So, I'm just kidding.
Well, if it's fake, you're faking really well. So what inspires you?
Yeah, that question. So like generic, right? And I was asking myself, what really inspires you, Beijing? Like, what gets you up in the morning to do what you do, right? To really hit home with the question. And I know it kind of sounds weird, but I think it's time right now, right? Because this question changes in different seasons of my life. And I've heard myself say many different things, but right now in this season, the first thing that comes up for me is time and passion. So what I mean by time is every day we're growing older. And my dad always used to tell us growing up, time waits for nobody, right? Time waits for nobody. Like I've heard that over and repeatedly. And when I think about this season, I just feel this type of urgency to do what you feel called to do and then do it. And so obviously to execute that, right? You don't want to procrastinate, right? You have to have good usage of your time. And so what inspires me is the fact that like time is running out, and it's just time to get it done, you know? And so, but not in a negative way. It's in a reaffirming way. Like I wake up and I'm like, morning routine, cool, get your work done, well, execute it. Don't waste your time, have time, you know, balance it, right? Because I believe in balance, play hard, rest hard, and work hard. And so, yeah, and just like, I just feel like we don't value time enough. And that's why we don't see so many amazing things happening, because we're just slacking, like we slacken. And so for me, like, especially in this season, it's like that urgency to just go and don't be afraid. Because like I do a lot, and I feel like majority, like society would pinpoint me as a risk taker and like, yeah, she'll do it. But I mean, obviously I'm nervous and I'm like, oh, what if it doesn't work out? What if nobody likes it? Right? I go through all of that. But for some reason in this season, even so more so, like that's not even in my head. It's just like, get it done. You know, if God approves it, get it done. And so yeah, that's what really inspires me. And that's with anything, right? Ministry, business, projects, whatever. And then passion, right? So yeah, you to do a job well done, you have to be, you know, passionate about it. And for someone in my case, like, I mean, obviously I've had jobs that I hated and I had to trudge myself through it, but that's what built my character. So the Beijing I am today is through the jobs that I had to go through, where every single day I get out of the car and I have to put on a whole new face and be like, let's do this. And then and I do it, right? But I hate it, but my character is being formed. And, the quote that says, you are who you are when no one's watching, that was in my mind all day, every day when I was in those jobs. Who are you, Beijing, when your bosses aren't watching? Are you, you know what I mean? Are you doing your job at the best? So it's character building, which is so needed in order to get to the next level, get to the next level, get to the next level. So, everyone just wants to reach and get there, but you can't, because you don't have the mental stability to maintain it when you're up there, because you don't get it. You're not there yet. You have to, there's a process. You have to go through certain things in order to build yourself mentally, emotionally, all that stuff. So when you are there, you have a wonderful foundation to maintain it. And then all over again to get to the next level, So yeah, I feel like I was like all over the place with that, but yeah, that's what inspires me.
No, I definitely get it. What you were saying. And no, you weren't all over the place, but that is your how your experience was formed. And you touched on a lot of good points. I think at least I can identify with having to go to work and not really being passionate about it. And you have to try and just put on a good face to try and get through the day. So definitely understand where you're coming from. And now you get to be where you are, and following your purpose and following your passion. And so, that is something that is relatable. And so when we look at Miss Beijing, I hate that I'm chopping up your name. Sorry.
Okay, you're still nervous.
When we look at Miss Beijing, who would have started the It's Our Turn nonprofit organization, and then you would have started your island adventures, you would have started your life coaching. Miss Beijing, what's next? What are your goals? what do you want to do? Can you share one or two? I mean, what's next? If you can, if you feel comfortable, what one or two of your goals? You were also a millennial, one of the 40 millennials, right? Am I getting it right?
Yeah, 48. Yeah. I
Yeah.
was
So,
awarded that. Yeah.
so what's next?
Yeah. Before I even get there, there's something you said that, jogged my memory. It's back about the building character and being in jobs that you don't, particularly like. Attitude is
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Everything. Mm-hmm.
Attitude is everything, and mindset switch to like positivity is like
Mm-hmm.
everything, right? Because even though like, yeah, hated it, knew I wasn't supposed to be there, but
Mm-hmm.
understood that I had to be, right? And so like fighting with that like every day, but whatever. But guess what? At the end of the day, when I came home, I had a freaking amazing day. Why? Because of attitude,
Mm-hmm.
because of realizing this is what I have right now. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
not about to waste 12 hours or 8 hours of my day at this job.
Well, that's
Hating it,
powerful that you
hating
what you
it,
just said.
hating it.
This
I'm
is
not
where
going to do
I
that.
am right now. That's powerful. Wow.
So you have to exactly. So you have to find those bits and pieces, right, of your day that brings you joy. Whether that's a certain coworker, whether that's a part of you that you bring to the job, right? So for me, it's encouragement. My coworkers were just complainers, man. So when I came to that space, they're like, oh, yes, Beijing's here. She's going to give us an encouragement word or whatnot, because I already developed that part of me years back. So now I'm coming into this space and this new environment. I take what I have, my strengths, right, which I love, pour it on to others, and then help make the space better for everybody else, right? So, and then at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I was able to help that person get through, or I was a listening ear, or I told someone about Jesus, or like just something, right? And I was like, oh, it's such a great day. Or I just had and for me, I love to laugh, right? So I know who I want to go to when I need to go laugh. So, I, find those people. So it's just all to say, like, it's attitude, man, and finding, those little bits and pieces of who you are, and then in the space you are, and then putting them together to find joy and bring joy. So yeah, just wanted to say that. Okay, cool. What was the question?
Your goals and plan. But I just
Yeah,
want to touch
what's
back
next?
on what you said.
What's
That's
next?
just powerful,
Oh,
and you're skipping over it. And the fact that you said you embrace where you were, because sometimes, we want to bypass the state where we are in to get to a better state. But once you've learned to embrace where you are, sometimes that leads you into getting to where you need to be. And sometimes you need to be in that space to develop character. And I think you're glazing over it, but that is very powerful. So your goals and plans,
yeah.
here, you do this, you're doing
Yeah.
this, your ORT, nonprofit
Yeah.
organization. What's next?
Yeah. So right now, Beijing is only focused on life coaching, humanitarian efforts, and island adventure experiences, which is really exciting because I could really be all over the place because I'm very interested in a lot. I'm good at a lot, and I love to try new things. So with those three components, it's really hard to just like hone in into one thing. So I always admired those people who had one dream their entire lives when they're like 5 and they stuck to it until they died. Me, no, like I love everything, right? And I always need change. So yeah, but I'm very happy with myself. I feel very fulfilled in these three initiatives, businesses, whatever you want to call it, that I have focused my time and effort into, which is life coaching, humanitarian stuff, young people, and then adventure. So yeah, so there is something new that is being breath. I'm not gonna I'm just gonna tell you what it is, but I'm not gonna go into depth about it just because it's not even there yet. But it is in the realm of TV. So basically like starting a TV show, which is something super exciting because this has been a dream of mine. This has been a dream of mine ever since ever since I came back home after living from Chile. So the last 3 years. And it has been in the making back then, but I kind of like fell off and now we're like back on the horse. And I'm really excited because I see like an end goal. And I see like different pieces moving. So as soon as that's actually at a point where I can start talking about it, oh, I will. But for now, it's like on the hush hush. But yeah, it's definitely like a TV show thing. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So definitely understand you don't want to talk about it unless you're fully there. So I get it. But you're taking action and you're making moves,
Yeah.
which is awesome. Which is
And that
awesome.
goes back to the inspiring me, right? Because the whole point I brought it back on the table is because I watched I watched a film. It was The First Lady Conductor, back in the 1900s, on Netflix. It was so inspiring. That's another thing that inspires me. True stories based on persons who just deviated from the norm, man, and made history. That also really inspires me. But anyway, so I watched that film. And after I watched that film, I was just like, Beijing, what are the things that you've dreamt about, but you haven't like gotten started on yet, or like stopped because of adversity? And that's when I picked this thing back up again. I was like, and what did I say? Time. I picked it up again. I was like, time is moving. Let's go. And so yeah, that's why I was like, gotta get this. Yeah. Oh, and then another initiative is so I was working for the Bahamas Red Cross. Dreamed if I ever had to have a job, that was my dream job as a National Youth Development Officer. The youth program that you see today, I created. It was the most amazing. I loved it. Anyways, so one of the initiatives
Can you talk a little bit about that youth program? Do you mind sharing a little bit?
Yeah, no, definitely. So where should I start? Okay, so we focused on boy, it's been a while. Whew, it has been a while. So we focused on certain elements that we wanted to help our young people of the Bahamas in. So not so much broad topics, but something for us to hone in and be like, okay, this is where we want to help you, according to the needs of the young people, right? Because I don't believe coming in and be like, this is what you need. No, like you have to ask, is this beneficial towards you, right? And so then we had to create a strategy 2030, get it approved by the board. The board approved it. And basically, what we focused on was mental health, sustainable development, mental health, sustainable development, education, and the fourth one was leadership. And so with that, all of the activities that we did, initiative projects, whatever you want to call them, had to then go within one of those four. And so one of the outstanding projects that I created was in the mental health branch. And I created this for Mental Health Awareness Month, which is May. I created this initiative called Using Art for Mental Healing. And it was for the young people of Dorian, who suffered from Dorian, that still didn't receive, the help that was needed, just because COVID came and then things just went from Dorian to COVID like so quickly. And I wanted to address them because I personally attended and helped and served the survivors, young survivors from Hurricane Dorian, by this initiative called the Love Tent back in 2019, from September to February 2020, where we created in this Love Tent, the children came every day, 5 times a week. We had different volunteer groups give their time, give their effort, give their service to these young people. And, I was just one of the overseers of it and whatnot. So anyway, so then when I realized I was working at the Red Cross, I was like, oh my gosh, like I know these people, I served them, I was there for them, like they're still hurting. And so create this workshop using art for mental healing. We did a workshop tour, Grand Bahama, Abaco, Nassau, 2 workshops. Grand Bahama, 2 workshops in Nassau, and 2 workshops in Abaco, 1 in Nassau. And we brought in a speaker who is an expert in using art therapy, along with myself. And we traveled together and we did these workshops. And let me tell you, it was like mind blowing to see the art that they created from their perspective of Dorian. It is like so heavy, and like you just cry. Like there's no other emotion that you can exhibit, because it's like these young people went through the most like devastating storm of history, and in their art, so they say, but God had me and we're all right. Like what type of resilience is that? Like what type of faith is that? Like it oh, and their art is a man in the ocean with the shark under them with a rope holding on to another body, and it's like a Bible verse, thank you Lord for saving us. Like a house demolished, and it's like, but we made it through. Like it's, it's, oh, like we have no idea the strength and the resilience of the young people of the Bahamas. Like it is out of this world. Like, nah. Anyways, so if I keep talking about that, then yeah, I'll be start crying. But it's just, it inspires me so much. And it's like, why aren't we using this? Like, and so God told me, he was like, Beijing, like, so I kind of went over the place, but after the love tent was over, God was like, Beijing, their voices need to be heard. Those children in the love tent who you tended to for months, like their voices need to be heard. And like impulsive Beijing would have been like, okay, let's do something. Let's do a project, blah, blah, blah. But more mature Beijing in her faith was like, okay, just let me know when and let me know what, and I'll be there and I'll do it. Boom, get hired to be the National Youth Development Officer of the Red Cross. Mental health month is coming up. God says, remember I told you last year to have their voices be heard? Well, do these workshops, and then we're gonna have their voices heard through their art in a coffee table book given to society. Okay, cool, let's do it. Boom, did the tour, did the workshops, all that stuff. I have the art in the process now of creating the coffee table bookshops, what we're gonna launch for 2022 mental health month, May. And so yeah, and so it's so beautiful and it's so empowering because it's not some foreigner given their perspective of Hurricane Dorian, not some adult writing their memoir of hurricane. No, it is the youngest of society sharing their voices of what happened in their creative way, which will be put into a book and which will be sold. Hopefully every household in the Bahamas buys and receives, and has, because it's our history. And it will be the first, from my knowledge, tangible item that the Bahamas has nationally of Hurricane Dorian on that scale. So yeah, so that's an initiative that happened this year, but still in the process of creating for next year. And yeah, so there's two things. There's nothing else I can put on my plate. But yeah, so that was very long tangent, but it's the greatest, I say that it is the greatest work that I have ever done in terms of youth empowerment and development in my career, youth empowerment development. And it's like dear to my heart because it's yeah. Heart's pumping. Oh, woo, I'm ready. Woo. Sorry. Oh man, that was a lot.
So you talk about that moving experience, and you can tell that that experience would have really moved you, and that would have been something that kind of added to your many items in your repertoire, and helped to build your experience. And so that's why we welcome you here today as a willful woman, because you're intentional about your initiatives. And so with that said, what are your thoughts on women being more intentional about taking their place in leadership and also being intentional about what contributions they want to make to society in general?
Yeah, great question. So if you're listening, hopefully you are, made it this far in our amazing talk. You have like everything you need to execute, right? It's all in here. You just have to allow yourself the patience and the time. Time to allow yourself the patience, the time, the consistency and the discipline to sit yourself down and figure out what it is you want to do, right? I say patience because we want to just get it done, right? And if you just do it that way impulsively, then it's not going to be done correctly and well.
And I'm glad that as you spoke, you talk about the process.
Yeah.
You talk about there being a process. So sorry to interrupt, but you said a lot of powerful stuff that I kind of picked up on.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Please interrupt anytime. It's your show. Yeah, so the patience, and I know that. I know I'm the most impatient person you will probably ever meet. And I've started things from top to bottom and impatiently put it out there. It wasn't time yet. It wasn't time for the public to see that. But because I was just so headstrong, impulsive, and ended up flopping all their hard work down the drain, right? So have patience with yourself to really develop it from beginning to end, right? And I'm not talking about perfectionism, right? I'm not a perfectionist. I'm not talking about perfectionism because perfectionism for me is just another word for procrastination, right? You're like, no, but one more tweak. It's never going to be perfect because you are an imperfect human being, right? That's why we freaking need Jesus, right? So just obviously a great product from start to finish, right? That is ready for somebody, something you would buy, right? Okay, cool. Or do, or whatever it is, project, initiative, business. And then the second was time, the urgency, realizing the urgency of getting it done because anything can happen. You can get in a car accident, God forbid. Somebody in your family may die and then you have to spend that time weeping. And like, I'm just saying, like, anything can happen. So it's like, if you're, start now, like just start being intentional about that thing now. Yeah. 3, consistency. One thing that people always say about me, like one of the positive things or encouraged things that people would say about me is I'm very consistent. I like the day I kind of popped up online was when I started my blog back in 2014. From 2014 to 2021, I've still been on the online space. I've still been developing. It's like people have been watching me grow, basically, or been watching me, have been watching me grow up, right? I've been consistent in what I do or learning what it is I want to do, right? But I don't just go and then fall off the grid for 1,000 years and then I'm back. Sometimes I do, right? Because obviously I need my like breather and stuff, but I'm always back and I'm always consistent. And that is super, super important. Consistency, like they say, is really key. And I see it in my life. Like I see when all the people I started with, when I started that blog, I have no idea what they're doing now. Not that it's my business. I'm just saying, like, they started on the same level with their blogs with me. How did that creativity form into what it is for them 5 years later? Well, that creativity started for me being a life coach, doing an adventure business, and whatever else I've done, right? And so it's like, you have to stay consistent and getting to date yourself and learn yourself because you're always changing and always something new, right? And you have to stay consistent in learning that and then putting it out there. Okay. And then lastly, discipline. People don't like that word and it's not popular at all, but discipline is everything. And I really learned that lesson when trying to lose weight. So I wasn't like this, right? I wasn't like this my entire life. I was bigger and I hated it. And I had this goal for myself and like what I wanted. And not just to look like, but to be able to feel, but like fit wise, because I know that I'm an active person and I just want to feel the best doing those active things and not feeling sluggish and tired so quickly and all that stuff. Right. So yeah, guess what I had to do? Freaking be disciplined what I ate, whatever my active movements were, whether that's exercise, sports, whatever, but I had to stay consistent and disciplined in all of it in order to see the results. And that is the exact same thing in creating your project, being a leader, creating your initiative, starting your business, whatever that is, what you're trying to start, right? Is discipline. So what does that mean? Reading the certain books, spending time on YouTube, reading videos, finding a mentor, spending time once a week, talking to that mentor about that, about your thing who's in the same industry, spending time with yourself, creating a mind map or a brainstorm session with yourself, discipline, waking up earlier because you have a job, the job that I was talking about that I hated, I was running a business at the same time. And let me tell you, like, no time. I legit had no time for anything else. Like, it was that season of my life it was the pressure to then become the diamond that I am today. Right. Pressure, right? So I had to wake up earlier to get all that business stuff done, then go to work, then do the business stuff afterwards. Like, it was just constant discipline, right? And so because I knew the results that I wanted, right? So you have to, but all of that, and I love that you use the word intentional, all of that takes intentionality. You have to be intentional about it. But yeah, so those things are like what helped me. And then as a woman, so it's really interesting, like the woman thing, because I've never felt held back as a woman. I always see myself as equal in terms of male and female. And I'm not really into labels in anything. Like, I'm not into labels of female. I'm not into labels of race. I'm not into labels of gender. I'm just Beijing. And like, that's it. And I don't know if I feel that has helped me feel like anything is possible, because I don't put myself in these labels and put myself in these boxes that actually divide people and not even like bring them together. But I do understand the struggle, and I do understand that there is a struggle. I just don't take those struggles on myself. So when it comes, and if I have had experienced a struggle, it doesn't like get to me, really. It's almost like, okay, cool, that's your point of view. I'm Beijing, I'm a child of God, that's my identity. And I move and I go and I execute. Pardon?
I said next.
Next. What do you? Oh, no, yeah, exactly. Yeah, next, exactly. Yeah. So, but I realize, and I know that there's the woman workforce thing, and those things. I just think, I just think, obviously, if it's in you, it's for you, right? And that means you just kind of have to get it done, and for me, it's like, you consult it with God, obviously, to help him, reveal the steps, the people, whatever it is that you need resources to get it done. But if it's there, it's in you for a reason. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you're black, white, blue, purple, yellow, doesn't matter if you're a man or a female, just get it done. Like, don't let those societal constructs stop, who freaking cares? Like, no, you use what you have, right? God says, use what's in your hands, right? What is in our hands 24/7? This thing. Things with this thing. You can do invoices on this thing. You can connect with people from a different part of the world on this thing. You can create, edit photos on this thing. You can read and watch videos on this thing. This is what you have in your hand. So basically, you have no excuse. Like, no excuse. So that's what I say to that. I know it's like very unconventional, but that's what I say to that. Just don't let these societal constructs that they try to group us in. Break free from that foolishness, man. You are who you are. God created you who you're meant to be, and find your identity in Christ. Nothing else matters. And when you actually believe that, then you feel invincible. Because what? You have God on your freaking side? Yeah, on my freaking side, and you allow him to use you and get it done, change lives, and I believe women have and then I also believe, right? So women and men have their own makeups. That's how God created us. There's man stuff and there's woman stuff. And I believe the way God created women, we have this beautiful way of doing things that is different from men. And in terms of leadership, I think we approach it more on a less, like, not strict, but like a more like emotional, feely, supportive side than more so of like, I'm standing here talking
authoritarian, aggressive.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's needed, right? That's needed, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want women to think that because they're not that, they can't stand in front of a group and talk to people. No, like you can, because that is beautiful. The woman makeup that you have, along with all the other tiny different capabilities and uniqueness that God has given you, right? You put that in there to be you, and then you freaking talk to the crowd in front of you, right? So yeah, it's like a lot. But that is, I really like that question, because I just don't really hear many people. There's just so much division, and it just it really breaks my heart to see so much division and see people really identifying and aligning themselves in categories when it's like, no, like you're you,
right?
That's what makes you so special and beautifully and wonderfully made. Tap into that and stop worrying about what group you fit in. Tap into you and figure out, who am I? What am I here to do? Because you have no time left, right? Anything can happen, right? So I'd say be intentional about you, and your contribution to society is also very needed, because again, it just goes back to, there's nothing anyone else can offer that you can offer.
And that always strikes me too, because, and that's so powerful what you said, because you have someone that they look at somebody else and say, I want to do what she, like, they see you being great and they think that they can do what you do, but you don't need to do what somebody else do. If you follow your path and follow your purpose, you can be great in and of yourself and in what you are doing. But to look at somebody else and say, I'm going to take what they did and copycat that and imitate that, is never going to be the way how that person does it, because that person has their own blueprint on that particular assignment that they have. So you have to follow your purpose and be intentional about what you need to do, and because your particular blueprint is going to be on your purpose, not somebody else's. And so that is why it's so important in what you said, in following your purpose and not boxing yourself in and what society says what you should be, but really following the path that is being predestined for you. So exactly. you shared some powerful stuff.
Thanks, man. And what came to mind is back to step one, patience, right? You follow the blueprint because you don't want to take out the time to figure out who you are. It's easier to look at somebody else. Yeah, it's easier.
My goodness, that is so powerful. Yes.
And I actually just realized that.
Say that again.
You look at somebody else because that worked for them, so let me just copy and paste that.
Yes.
And so it's like, but am I them? No, honey, you ain't. Like, you have no idea like what you have in here. And that's why I said you got to date yourself, and it takes so much time. And that's why I said patience. But for someone like me, because I started young, I'm so aware now, still young, because I started young, and I made the decision at 15 that I'm going to be the best version of myself. And that's what I'm going to dedicate my life to. I'm going to be the best version of myself from 15. And so it's like 11 years of this practice. And people look at me and they're like, you're this, you're that. I was like, honey, I've been at this for 11 freaking years. When you 5 minutes after you saw like one of my stories, and the fact that I can wake up on a Monday and say, I love Mondays, my favorite day of the week. Because of practice of 10 years, I can wake up on a Monday and say, I love Mondays. That doesn't happen overnight. No.
I think sometimes people see the finished product, but they don't see the fact that you were in the trenches just trying to get to where you are now. They just see the finished product. And so that's why it's so important to share our stories. And it's so important to let people know, hey, I didn't just arrive here. I actually had to go through this, and that to get here. And so it's so important to let people know that this is a process.
Exactly. And I'm so glad you said that. I have, there's a part of my journey where, you know, everyone just saw like happy-go-lucky Beijing. So I was like, okay, wait, there's parts of me too that y'all don't see. And so I called that season, Your Struggle is Your Story. And so that's when I decided to share more on my struggles. And I put that out there for people to realize like, hey, like, I have struggles, you know? And so then after that, that was in 2017. Since then to today, I make it a point to, if I am struggling, I, you know, would share that. So people are reminded like, hey, this is the human plight forever. You will always struggle. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Because what the wrong thing is how you deal with it. And so, but it's important to also post those things because it is a part of human life, right? And you have no idea who else is going through that struggle.
Exactly.
And they can resonate with that more so than all these accomplishments that you're continuing.
Exactly. That's a part of the journey. I just want to say hi to Vivian. She's listening from Jamaica, and she's saying that this is an important topic and the guest is speaking some important truths. So yeah, we just want to thank Vivian. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you for listening.
Hello, Vivian. Welcome. So exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, and so it's you said a lot of powerful stuff. It's a lot of powerful stuff, and as you would have talked about, you know, posting your struggles. You know, struggles is a part of the human experience, and so you know we all have our struggles. Okay, it's reality. As much as you can pretend all you want to pretend, the reality is that we all have struggles that we have to deal with. It is what it is.
Exactly.
Okay? Yeah. And so I want to thank you for being a willful woman and being intentional in your initiatives and moving in your purpose.
Oh,
you know,
thank you.
Thank you,
darling.
And continue to move in your purpose because we need people. We need our young people to move in their purpose. We have so many bright, talented young minds, and we don't need them to be discouraged. We don't need their creativity to be squashed by persons telling them you need to be like this or you need to do this. No, we need you to bring what you have to the table because we're all bringing in different stuff to the table, and every idea, every thought is needed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so
Agreed.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for this talk today. Do you have any additional comments you would like to share?
Of course. I want to thank you. I'm so grateful to be chosen to be on this Willful Woman Wednesday. Oh man, that's Willful Woman Wednesday.
That's a tongue twister, right?
It is a tongue twister, but it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's worth it.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful and so honored that you saw value in the things that I'm doing, that I'm able to, you know, share it to the majority. I am so grateful, and I'm so proud of you for doing something like this because it is needed. You're so right. So many women out there who are doing great things, but sometimes negativity takes over the positivity. And so now you're creating a space of a community of positivity for people to just access and be like, let me see what's going on with the women's initiatives. And so hats off to you, gal.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for letting
Don't cry. Don't cry.
We want to also talk about the men. We're going to do something for the men too, because some of the men are doing things. So we don't want to just make it seem as though it's a women, but we want to highlight the fact that we do have people within our community, because based on the information that is being shared, sometimes, you know, entertainment is good. But we don't want to just share all those negative things and, you know, people going back and forth on social media. That's not what we're all about. We actually have people in our community who are intelligent, who are bright-minded, who have great ideas, and we want to highlight them. Yeah. Okay, that is what we want to do. Thank you for the entertainment. Thank you for the jokes. But we want to highlight those bright, intelligent minds who are moving forward and getting stuff done and doing things. Okay.
Agreed. Thank you so much, DJ. Mwah. Ciao.
Thank you for joining us today. Do you have a page you want to share?
Yeah. If you want life coaching, because you just don't have it figured out, man, and that's totally fine. That's why life coaching is a thing. You can follow me at Coaching with Beijing on Instagram or Facebook, and then just send me a message. Hey, I want more information. And then if you would love to go on an adventure of a lifetime, then just check us out on Island Adventure Experiences on Instagram or Facebook. Send me a message saying, when are your next camping trip dates? And we will get straight to you. And if you just want to follow my life, it's Beijing.Rodgers. I'm pretty wild, I'm pretty raw, but I'm exciting. And yeah, you follow me there. That's it.
Awesome, Miss Beijing Rodgers, and I want to thank you for joining us today, taking time out of your busy schedule, your busy day to come and sit with us and talk about some of the things that you're doing, especially as a young woman within our community, and we are proud of you and continue to keep up the good work. Okay, so I want to thank our guests for listening to our talk. I want to thank Miss Beijing Rodgers for joining us today. And I would like to thank our viewers for listening in. Like our page for future notifications of upcoming discussions. Comment under our videos, comment under this video. Let us know your thoughts and let us know what you want us to talk about. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Can We Talk? Follow us on Instagram and Twitter using the addresses provided on our page. And so with that, let's keep talking. Let's keep talking. So with that, we close our session today. Goodbye, everyone.